What's up, everyone? Welcome to the daily macro update for Wednesday, August 27th. We have NVDA earnings here after hours, which we're going to take a look at live. I do have to be off of here around 4:15, so we'll just have to stick to the plan here. Taking a look at the markets, a little bit of interesting, kind of a quiet day today. The dollar kind of remains flat from where it was at, pretty much the past couple weeks, although it still is maintaining this interesting, forming a couple of higher lows here. So that's one thing that I have my eye on right now, is to see if the dollar maintains this current trend and possibly reclaiming bullish trend. One thing that I was noticing, though, is that the 2-year yield is just completely dropping right now on rate cut expectations. So, the closer that we get to September, unless we have just a blowout PCE number on Friday, it's pretty much priced in that the rate cutting cycle is going to continue here. What was interesting is that, you started to have a little bit of a pop this morning in the long end of the curve. But then this also is following suit. But definitely, when you zoom out here, it's not having as much of a decline as the markets might hope here. And so essentially, what's happening with the yield curve is that a bull steepening is getting even more steep, right? So if we take a look at the yield curve, you can see that pretty much from where it's at right now, it's getting close to where it was at its peak during that April timeframe. And when the bull steepening happens, that's when the short end of the curve falls faster than the long end of the curve, and that's what causes a steepening effect, right? And so, this is pretty much the initial reaction to a bull steepening is that, the Fed's going to cut rates. We're going to get more liquidity soon. It's going to be, great for risk on assets. And then it starts to shift into more of a cautious mode, similar to what we saw back earlier this year. But we'll see if that ends up resulting in some type of pullback. I know when taking a look at the markets, there's definitely room for this to start to have a pullback at some points. Not saying that that's going to happen right now on this reaction by NVIDIA, but you have the setup here, and it would be healthy for the market to have a pullback. But I mean, the market looks great. I mean, over the past several weeks now, we've been saying don't short this thing. There's not really any reason to be bearish right now, considering the market is continuing to put in a series of higher highs and higher lows on accelerating volume. And take a look, the S&P 500 is about to close at another all-time high, while most investors are extremely bearish, and it really doesn't make any sense. This is why in this post-pandemic market, you want to make sure that you are prioritizing the current trend, because that is pretty much the most powerful factor, right? If you go back in time, different market themes have been more weight on valuations, more weight on the macro, more weight on the technical. Well, in this one, it's more weight on the actual fund flows, right? And there's a lot of different market dynamics because of that. But one of the main things is that in this post-pandemic environment with liquidity, there's a lot of liquidity that's out there. You got to pay attention to where it's being funneled into. And right now, it's just going to continue to be funneled into the large cap stocks. And, we'll see right here what happens with NVIDIA after earnings. But yeah, I mean, it's definitely interesting to see that, sentiment still unbelievably remains bearish. And, I'm still not sure why. But I know that a lot of people on Twitter and in the comments section of my videos, they think that the world is ending. But, the market doesn't really care about that. So you just want to be able to play what we have in front of us, and that's what we're seeing right now. We can take a look at NVIDIA here. It did rally into let me see if it's not quite yet near the top end of the trading range. It's definitely more. It's definitely closer to the top end of the trading range zone than it is the low end of the trading range. So there is that gap there. But let's take a look at volume here. Volume has, pretty much remained in the immediate term, you know, normal. But you did see a large deceleration in historical volatility flows, right? So we take a look at this ratio here as well as the 30-day versus 90-day historical volatility comparison. And yeah, I mean, NVIDIA just, it's in a position where it's flow friendly. And with that, even if you do have a little bit of a negative reaction, if it comes down to the center of the range, which is around a price of $176.65, it doesn't look like it's at a point right now where this would just be falling out. Of course, we'll see what happens. I do have the financial reports page pulled up here. We can take a look. What my team and I like to do is we like to look at the year over year stacked growth change, right? And so, for example, right here, we see that revenue went up 122% year over year from this time last year. And then in 2023, it went up 101% for revenue, right? So that's actually an acceleration that you see year over year, 2-year stacked growth acceleration. But let's see. Oh, yeah. And then in 2022, it was only up 3%. So you did see a large acceleration still with revenue. Even if you take a look at non-GAAP numbers, pretty similar as well. But we take a look at GAAP numbers. And so, we'll continue to look at this with the new numbers here. But I mean, there's not really any signs of showing that, this would have a complete fallout. But the reason why we pay attention to NVIDIA in the first place, hopefully you guys know by now, it is, as a $4 trillion or $4.45 trillion market cap, 4.42 trillion, it is the largest stock in the world. So, and a lot of the main indices have super large have a lot of exposure to it. So, yeah, that's why we pay attention. So, but there wasn't any type of huge macro data to come out today. Pretty quiet day out there. So we'll just take a look here, and I'll go ahead and open it up for questions. If you guys have questions, comments, if you want me to pull up any type of tickers, charts to see if it's bullish or bearish in our model, more than happy to go through any of those. So how are we doing, everyone? I'm going to take a sip of water here. Let's take a look at tomorrow's schedule. Let's see, on Thursday, we get the second estimate for Q2 GDP, and then we have pending home sales, and that's pretty much it. So really, the next one is Friday morning at 8:30 a.m. And yeah, so we could have a couple of quiet days. This week, been doing a lot of stuff in our products and the services internally. So that's why you've seen a little bit less of content from me this week, except for my live streams. Those will be coming back to the normal schedule next week. So I appreciate everyone's patience there with the light content this week. But at any week, it's a good week to take that break. All right. ONDS, what is that? Ondas Holdings. Telecom equipment, $1.3 billion market cap. Yeah, I mean, this thing is pretty wild here. Large acceleration, still a little bit small for my taste, but yeah, even though this continues to go up, we are near the top end of the trading range. So today was a great time to sell if you own this ONDS. I don't know anything about it fundamentally, but just by looking at the model, yes, it's in bullish trend, but it is also at the top end of the trading range, so you don't want to just ape in right here. Do you have a plan of action ready in case NVIDIA earnings tank? Well, it's not that you have plans of actions for specific events, but what we've been saying to our members over the past couple days, trading days, is raising cash and being able to buy any type of dips that come out of this. And so, we still have a ton of different names that are working really well. And a lot of those things were at the top end of the trading range, similar to ONDS here. And so, what do you do? What you do is you just take some off the top so that you can reinvest, right? So, yeah, that's about it. I'm up 250%. Great. Fantastic. Santo Arcuri. That's great to hear. I'm glad you're making money. It's in 4 minutes. No, I think it comes out like maybe 20 minutes after. So we'll see what happens. But yeah, we'll go to the ETF ARKK. Yeah, so ARK has put in an all-time high on August 13th. Wasn't the absolute high from the wick that happened on July 21st. So, it is losing a bit of trend strength here. It still remains in bullish trend, but I would prefer to see this near the low end of the trading range on this lower volume before making any type of position. But yeah, I mean, it technically still remains in a bullish trend. Excuse me. RKLB, yeah, Rocket Lab. Yep, this does remain still in a bullish trend here. Rejecting off the top end of the trading range, so hopefully at the past couple days you've been taking some profits into that, and now we get to buy back lower. AMD, another bullish trend. Yep. Similar, it's dropping in volume on lower prices, which is good. So, yeah, I mean, AMD is another really good one. Is gold and silver still bullish? Yes. Gold has, just been flip-flopping between neutral and bullish, but yes, it is bullish. It's going to have its fourth test, or 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It's about to have its sixth retest of 3,400 here. At some point, this thing's going to break out. But yeah, gold looks like it's about to make a massive run here. RR, what is that? Rich Tech Robotics. I have no clue what this is. $500 million market cap. Oof, that is a tiny one. Looks like it just had a crazy acceleration, though. So, yeah, I mean, it's technically bullish in our model, but little bit of a smaller name for my type of style. But hey, if you like that sort of risk, more power to you. But yeah, it's a big pop. How much is your volume indicator period? I'm not sure what you mean by that. Do you mean like on what time frame we use it? Because if that's your question, then on the daily time frame. Was HUT 8 at the top end of your model today? Let's see. Yes, it is. So this would be a good time to be selling some into strength. What there need to be a catalyst for gold cross at 3,400 mark? I don't know. I mean, pretty much continuing what it's been doing, which is, if we continue to be in the stagflationary environment, then yeah, I could see gold continuing higher from here. Thank you for all your work. You're welcome. Is the macro optics trading range indicator available to members only? Well, that's actually for partnership circle members only. Although we do publish the ranges for the main indices, all 11 sectors of the S&P 500 ETFs, as well as the top 10 stocks for just regular members as well. But yeah, if you want a license for you to use the trading ranges on your own trading view, that's included, as well as four other really good indicators. Those are included as a partner with us. If you guys want information on that, just go to our website, or you can send me a DM. Is Greece at the low of the trading range? I know that we had some options here today. Yeah, I mean, Greece is getting close to that. Look what happened the last time it got there. You had a huge multi-week run. So yeah, good call out there. Ricardo, good call out. Let's just pop into NVIDIA here real quick. A little bit of quietness right now. Yeah, I mean, gold is rate sensitive, so if rates do start to come down, it just depends on the context of that, right? Because if rates start really coming down fast because things are breaking in the economy and people are looking for ways to raise cash, or they're getting margin called, guess what the first thing that they sell is? Gold. That's right. I mean, moving average length of volume indicator. Oh, I see what you mean. Let's see. It's just the default 20 days. I'll change that to, let me change that here. Change it to 17. Would NVIDIA beat estimates significantly be negative for gold? Would revenue coming below estimates be bullish for gold? I'm not sure. I mean, if we go ahead and just take a look at, let's see here. Let's take a look at our rolling correlation table here. We'll bring up gold. And then, let's see. Let's also put in the chart. Let's make NVIDIA blue. So let's see what the actual rolling correlation is for these two items on a 30-day rolling basis. Yeah, so it looks like gold is slightly negatively correlated to NVIDIA. Basically neutral though. It's not like deeply negative. So even if you had NVIDIA do something wild, it's gold compared to NVIDIA right now on the correlations is pretty much neutral. If we zoom in a little bit, let's go on a 15-day rolling correlations basis, see what that does. Okay, interesting. So on a 15-day rolling correlation basis, it's actually been gaining positive correlation with NVIDIA. So it's not like extremely positively correlated, but it's pretty much up there, right? 0.36, that's decent. So, if NVIDIA, starts to perform well, I mean, since gold has been gaining positive correlation with NVIDIA, it could be actually good news. So, and then this indicator right here in TradingView, this is an example of what also you get on top of as a partner with us with the ranges. So you can literally put in and customize whatever rolling correlation ranges you want. And yeah, you can figure out and answer those questions pretty much on the spot, on demand. Good questions, though. Great questions. I don't think it's out yet. Let's see. Now, it's probably going to take a little bit. I do have to run, though, in about 15 minutes. So we'll see if it comes out then, in which case we'll just hang out here and answer some more questions. But great questions, though. Let's see if there's any on TikTok here. Someone says, I'm concerned about PCE being higher than expected, limiting the Fed ability to cut. Yeah, I mean, that's pretty much what the bond market is signaling, because we have core PCE accelerating 2 times in a row to up to 3.0%. And yeah, I'm not sure what the bond market will be after that. But yeah, I mean, that's going to be a problem. So we'll see what happens here. I wouldn't be surprised if volatility comes back just based off of, where we're at currently. Why did the Fed copy the New Zealand Central Bank of 2%? Not sure what you mean there. I've missed out on a couple $100,000 by listening to doomsayers. Yeah, you pretty much just have to, look at the charts there. What is a partner versus a member? You can go on our website to look at that, but you can pretty much think of it as like having a gym membership versus like actually, exercising next to some like a coach or someone. It's pretty much the comparison there. But I'm not going to bore people with a sales pitch right now. Why did the Fed copy 2% central bank inflation target from them? Why? I mean, that's just the made up number that they went with. Partly the reason why they choose 2% is because that's a rate at which nobody complains, and wages can at least be increased by 2% per year. So 2% is a magic number because it just doesn't upset people. If that makes sense. Pull up snow and CRWD. Yeah, those have been having a little bit of a pop here. Oh, wow. Take a look at snow. Yeah, that thing is popping right now. Let me see something here. I know a couple of other ones too. A-Lab as well as, let me see here, Soundhound. Both have not moved here. Yeah, interesting pop in snow. What did it have? Its earnings today too? Yeah. Look up EWJV. Any thoughts on Japan? Value stocks for Japan? Interesting. Yeah, I mean, this is something that is in bullish trend, and it tapped the low end of the trading range today. So, are you raising cash in front of Friday's PCE numbers? It depends. I mean, I'll be raising cash if some of the signals happen, right? So things that are going up a lot that are near the top end of the trading range, yeah, I'll be selling some into that and raising cash. I do like to raise cash in front of these big events that everyone like hedges because you do get some crazy reactions, but I don't think it's going to be too. I don't think it's going to be too much of a surprise though. People are really concerned about it. Mainstream media. The markets brace for NVDA earnings. Why are British bond yields? Why British bond yield is alarming? Well, anytime you have bond yields rising while there's a dovish Fed, that's typically not what you want to see, right? So if we take a look at UK 10-year, that's still, let me see, if we zoom out here. Yeah, I mean, that's pretty much near its local highs here. Kind of similar to our 30-year bond yield, right? But the bond market is essentially saying like, hey, inflation concerns are not going away right now. So there's a potential for the Fed to be cutting rates as inflation remains sticky. Maybe it doesn't go up, to 9%, which I don't think it will, but, it might remain persistently above the Fed's 2% target, which they claim that they're not giving up on, but I don't know. It seems like they are. Or maybe the whole time uh, it's just been a sales pitch, which typically that's what happens. Was buying some Japan, but don't know what it means for their equity market with their bond yield spiking. Yeah, I mean, it could be something where because they're raising rates, there's a lot of capital then flowing into Japanese markets, possibly. Um, the reason why things happen typically don't necessarily matter, like in the actual moment. Maybe if you're studying, what happens after the fact, sure, you can learn something. But if you're just following the market signals, you don't really need to know the reasons why things happen. You just see it and you react accordingly. Trading range can use for options trading? Yeah, sure. You can definitely use it because what the trading ranges do is it allows you to get your timing correct, right? Because if something is in a bullish trend and it's at the low end of the trading range, then that would be a good time to buy calls or sell puts. And then conversely, if something is in a bearish trend and then it pumps up to the top end of the trading range, guess what? You can buy puts. You can sell calls, right? So yes, to answer your question, who was it? Jackhammer. Yeah, I mean, it doesn't really matter what your trading strategy is, whether that's you're a day trader or a scalper, or you're more of a swing trader, multi-month, multi-year, or you're someone who's just a long-term investor, options trader, derivatives. It really doesn't matter. You can use the trading ranges for whatever style of investing works best for you, right? The most important thing is knowing when to actually press the button, whether that's longs, derivatives or day trading or just spot buying for the long term, right? You can utilize the ranges no matter what you're doing. But good questions though. Someone said AMD is dropping. It doesn't look like it. I hope AMD drops to the low end of the trading range so I can buy more. Are there any books you would recommend for trading? Well, in our group, we do have an entire library of about 30 books. It really just depends on like what your goals are, Um, yeah, it depends on what you're struggling with. Uh, yeah, so WIS, WISS. Leave in the comments what is the reason why you are asking for trading recommendations for books. SPY closing at new all-time highs. Yep. And for some reason, retail investors still remain bearish, even though the market continues to make new all-time highs. It doesn't really make sense. Yeah, I do have to get off here in about like 3 minutes. So we may not be able to get the actual live reaction here on the live stream, but these questions have been pretty good. Finishing The Intelligent Investor now and looking for a new book to read. Yeah, I mean, if you're just looking for generic books to read, um, let's see here. I'd probably say, let me think here. I would either recommend The Tao of Capital by Mark Spitznagel, DAO, The Tao of Capital. You can look that one up, or I would recommend also The Art of Contrary Thinking by Humphrey B. Neal. Those are two that are pretty great. They're not like direct like tactical advice, but they're really good for actual making trading decisions. But yeah, great questions. Great questions. How do you feel about Palantir? What do you mean? How do I feel about it? As soon as you let feelings get into the works, then you start to make mistakes. But yeah, Palantir, it's still in bullish trend here, but it has lost a little bit of trend strength. But we'll see what happens. Volume is decelerating. Had a little pop in volatility there, but there's better things to own right now than Palantir. Great questions. Great questions. What are your thoughts on nuclear energy in the context of AI? I don't know. I think nuclear energy in general is the cleanest form of energy, right? I think it's the safest with the technology these days. So, so yeah, I think that nuclear is the future. Now, how that comes into play with AI, I have no clue. I'm not an expert in that round, in that realm. Having a little bit of, did NVIDIA earnings come out right now? No, we're starting to see a little bit of uptick though. Must have come out just now because we're seeing some movement here. Seeing some volatility after hours. Must be some insider stuff happening. What do you think of markets in a 5-year time frame? No clue. I don't have a I don't have a crystal ball, so Nvidia is heading down to the low end of the trading range. I'm not seeing where it says Q2 though, so oh, there you go. Starting to come out now. A little bit of volatility after hours here. Mm-hmm. Wis, where are you seeing the press release? Looks like it's not showing here. Oh, here we go. Yeah, so the revenue actually declined on a 2-year stacked growth basis. So you see this, how it says 56%? You went from 101% increase in 2024, 122% in 2025, and then for fiscal year 2026, you went from 122% to only a 56%. So that is a 2-year stacked growth deceleration by a decent amount. And yeah, I mean, we've been seeing that though. I mean, it's not something that is too surprising. Let's take a look at the year-over-year growth of diluted earnings per share. That rose by 61%. Pretty large deceleration from being up 168% for Q2 of last year. And then if we just go to the Q1 results, let's see how it just did quarter over quarter here. That was 69%. So yeah, that was even a quarterly decline as well as a 2-year stacked growth decline. So yeah, definitely not the trajectory that you would want to see, you know. So we'll see what happens from here. But yeah, definitely, I would consider this a deceleration. That's for sure. But yeah, I mean, every time NVIDIA comes out, there's going to be the headlines are going to say better than expected. But always, you want to take a look at the year over year growth, right? And compare that. And so, yeah, you did see a deceleration there. What do you think the impact will be on the S&P during after hours? I mean, obviously, the S&P is a large stake, or it makes up a large portion. So, I mean, when you take a look at the SPY after hours, you can see that there's still a decent amount of movement here, but nothing too crazy. Maybe we will have a nice little sell off to the low end of the trading range, and if so, guess what? I'm going to be buying it. But all right, everyone, let's go ahead and end it there. I have to get to my next meeting here, but yeah, looks like there was a decent deceleration in earnings, but it's nothing where it's like completely falling out. Low end of the trading range for NVIDIA is 170, and that's the level that I would be buying NVIDIA. And then for the SPY, that would be 636, between 636 and 633. If you'd like these ranges for the SPY Qs and IWM every single day, we have our daily index ranges. This is a free newsletter. Just go to the link in our bio. And yeah, we'll see you there. Bye, everyone. See you tomorrow.